Okay, so here's what can really happen when you decide you're going to stop checking on your ex's social media. In my case, I was crazy about my ex. I really didn't want to break up, but that's what happened. And I found myself kind of checking in on their social media, trying to see what was happening with them, looking for evidence that they missed me, or just looking for something, some sort of clue. Through their posts, through their stories, I was trying to figure out, were they hurting like I was? Did they miss me? Had they moved on? Were they seeing somebody else? Did they regret their choice? However, anything I saw didn't tell me much. Was the person standing next to them a friend, a coworker, an acquaintance, or was that someone they were dating? Were they sad? They weren't going to post any pictures of them looking sad, so that wasn't apparent. I decided it would be a good idea to go no contact. That meant not checking the social media site, not looking to see if they were online, not checking to see if they had DM'd me, really having nothing to do with their social media presence. And that's when I realized I was looking at their social media throughout the day, nearly hourly, checking to see if they were online, checking to see if I got a message. There was a lot of checking happening. And although I acknowledged that, yes, I had to stop doing this, I just wouldn't. Or I felt like I couldn't, that I was gonna miss something. There was definitely part of me that wanted to stay open, that wanted to stay connected. I told myself, if they see that I sort of watch their story passively, they'll know I'm still there. That will mean something to them. That's like a subtle message. I think at that time in my life, deep down, I thought if I kept watching, if I kept checking, they'd somehow feel it. They'd somehow know. Our emotional connection would somehow stay alive. It was really magical thinking. Like if I stay close, even digitally, even through the internet, there's a chance they'll still come back. I'm gonna keep this little flicker of toxic hope alive. But the truth was, every time I checked their profile and nothing happened after that, every time I looked in on them, I felt worse. It really kept the heartbreak alive for me. And then I decided, yes, I have to stop engaging with their social media. And even though I was never posting a like, even though I was never sending a message or a DM, even though they might have never known I was looking at their profile, I still felt it. I felt this connection to them because I kept checking. So the memories were so fresh in my mind. In the end, I realized I needed to let go. I didn't start with total no contact. I didn't start with a week. I started with something very approachable. I would check twice a day, like a 6-hour window. I could check once, and then 6 hours later I could check again, and we'd start there. Surprisingly, it was very difficult because I had almost built up a habit of checking. I would go on my computer and I would check. I would get out to do something different. When I got on my phone, I would check. I was checking a lot. So I had to put that in the forefront of my mind, that I had set a goal every 6 hours, and I had to hold myself to that. And while I could look in 6 hours, this was an empty interaction. They were not responding. They were not there. It was a phantom connection. I had to remind myself that this was not real contact. Nothing was really happening. It was totally one-sided. It was empty. And I was craving emotional connection. So I took my dog for a walk. I invited friends for coffee. I cleaned everything. I tried to refresh different rooms. And I kept myself busy. I did that for about a week. Met with my therapist again, and we decided to stretch it to 12 hours. And this was hard. When I checked again at 7 p.m., I was looking for some sort of secret message, something targeted at me, but nothing was there. No DMs, no meaningful posts, really no nothing. And it made me really see that this connection was not there. I was just a viewer at this page. I didn't have a place here. And for a while during these 24 hours, I started looking at mutual connections, mutual friends, seeing what they posted, seeing if I saw anything there. Were they with somebody new? Did they look happy? Did they have a party and I wasn't invited? Anything for a sort of secondhand glimpse of what was happening. And that's when it hit me. I didn't just have to mute my ex. I had to mute a whole bunch of people. I had to mute the people that were connected to them, at least for a little while, in order to heal, because I had blown this up into much bigger in my mind. So today I advise my clients to go no contact with a variety of different platforms, from Venmo to Spotify, to shared playlists, to tagged photos, to Twitch, to their dog's Instagram, to their friend's dog's Instagram, from mutual friends that maybe they're more friends with. My clients and myself had to really prune back on our social media activity for our own good. Healing in the digital age is a minefield because there's so many ways you can look in on your ex and so many different hidden triggers you can just step on. Oh, there's a year ago today, we were together, favorite photos with them. There's a lot of things you need to mute. Now in my case, for me, I had muted them. We weren't totally blocked. I could still look in. And then one day I came across something and they were standing next to someone and I started to think, they're together. And I didn't spiral, but I realized it was upsetting. And why was I so focused on what was going on in their life? We weren't together anymore. And that's when I decided I was going to block them. I could always unblock if I needed, but I was going to block them. And I did. I muted everything I could. And with that done, I didn't have to check anymore. I had acknowledged to myself that I needed to turn the page, that I was clinging to something that wasn't there anymore, and that toxic hope was not good for me. My reflex, my desire to look at their profile started to fade. And I hope it's clear, it did take a while. I went from checking almost hourly to checking every 6 hours to checking every 12 hours to maybe checking once a day to totally blocking. So there were a lot of steps involved. I made a playlist for myself that made me feel empowered and positive. I texted my friends. I made healthy dinners for myself. I made healthy dinners for my friends. I let myself be lonely. I let myself cry. And I reframed it as, this is part of healing. I'm going to grieve for the relationship I thought would blossom, but didn't. And I walked my dog a lot. I realized in the end, I didn't miss them. I missed what I thought we could be. I missed our potential. I missed what I thought could happen, but never actually did. I missed having someone in my life, someone I could share my day with, someone who made me feel special and seen, someone I hoped would validate me. But in the end, I needed to validate myself. They couldn't be the person I needed them to be, and I probably couldn't be the person that they needed me to be. We just didn't work together. And I had to accept that. Radical acceptance. And after a while, I didn't want to check their profile. Because yeah, I could unblock, I could check. That possibility was always there. But after a while, I didn't need to. My interest was gone, and I was able to protect my peace and move on. And if you're watching this and you're thinking, oh, I relate. I check my ex's stories. I look at their tagged photos. I know I should stop, but I can't stop. I want you to know you can do it. Be patient with yourself, but also hold yourself accountable. You don't need to go cold turkey. You don't need to say to yourself, I'm never gonna check their profile again. But you can do 6 hours, start there. Or you could do 3 hours. You could start there and build. Start with that mindset of, I can't cling on to toxic hope. I can't hope they're going to grow if I have no evidence that they're trying. Radically accept that we might not want to break up, but that's what's happened. Then focus on the things that make you feel alive. Your friends, your family, interests you have, goals you want to accomplish, passions you want to explore. Focus on that. Keep yourself busy. Lead a purposeful life. Make that your mantra. I'm inviting purpose into my life. And each time you do that, you're not just letting go of them, you're choosing yourself. Want help with this? Grab my Heartbreak Reset Checklist. It's free and it walks you through simple steps to rewire your habits, regulate your urges, and reconnect with your sense of self. And if you're wondering what you should do with all the things you wish you could say to them, watch my next video, The Hardest Text I Never Sent and Why I Chose Silence Instead. Silence can be very powerful. I'm a licensed therapist and breakup coach with over 20 years of experience helping people navigate letting go of relationships and divorce recovery. Let me know what you think in the comments below.